Hi guys, and welcome back to Sliding Doors. Today I would like to speak about the new generation and the environment that we have built in the past 50 years that has provided an emerging paradigm of competition, and that we are trying to create a new future that is based on collaboration and recognizing the importance of people and human rights.
Connection is why we're here. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives.
A few years ago, I gave a presentation titled From Competition to Collaboration at the University of Padova for a class focused on sustainable development. This idea then became a short essay through which I started investigating some of the core fears of the younger generations. The idea came when I was walking with a friend after my project for the European Union was rejected. I shared that I had actually cried, feeling like I had failed. And she looked at me and went, "So what's the problem? I cry every day." And I say, "What?" So I started investigating this, asking people, and discovering that more and more people and students cry more and more. Let me know what you think in the comments and how many times you cry per week. The younger generation is living an unfortunate moment. We are bombarded with positive rhetoric, advertisement, and movies that teach us that we can do anything and that peace and cooperation are everything. But our daily experience is often the complete opposite. These positive messages give way to a reality that is highly competitive, where competition seems to be leveraged to gain unfair advantages and create inequalities. This is equally valid in the research environment. In his Coursera course, The Company of the Future, Professor Julian Birkinshaw suggests that universities survive on intrinsic rewards, like personal mission and a sense of community, while the standard job industry relies on extrinsic rewards, salaries, benefits, and bonuses.
The interesting finding is that people are least happy spending time with their boss, on average, and they'd actually prefer to be alone than to spend time with their boss. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us that there are some really bad managers out there, really bad bosses out there. There's some great bosses as well. I'm not trying to say this is a uniform issue, but there are many poor bosses out there. There are people who feel threatened, intimidated, or just generally disempowered by the quality of their bosses. Is that because those individual bosses are doing a bad job? Yes, it is. But I would argue that those bosses are actually a function of the system that has been created around them.
PhD students and postdocs often work incredibly hard because they are driven by an inner propulsion in a fiercely competitive sector. Arguably, this system favors exploitation, exploiting high levels of competition to gain unfair advantages through idea theft, power abuse, and ghost authorship, which indeed seems to be on the rise. In my previous video, Is Innovation Random?, I presented how circular cycles theory tries to identify recurring tendencies in history. Data analysis in this field has highlighted how rising inequalities and individualism are often predictors of moments of social instability, leading to wars, revolutions, which are often temporarily followed by new moments of institutional and collective strength. It's like a cycle of construction and destruction. But here's the point. Although our society is arguably currently defined by high levels of competition, this new generation and their values are the market of tomorrow. Public rhetoric is already shifting toward these new values. Multiple nations created the Sustainable Development Goals, and specifically the Development Goal 17 partnership, with the motto that we must work together for delivering a change. This goal was created during the 2015 United Nations Summit. Curiously, just 1 year before, Professor Birkinshaw was registering his course on Coursera. Here he defined two distinct eras: The industrial era from about the beginning of the century to the 1970s had the main goal of making the production of goods more efficient and resolving basic needs. The competitive advantage here was the ownership of capital, which characterized big factories and manufacturers. And the knowledge era, which was a period from the 70s to the present where basic needs were progressively satisfied and survival was guaranteed by reducing production costs and increasing availability. Resources slowly began to shift toward collecting and analyzing data for innovation. The competitive advantage here became the possession of knowledge and information, characterized, for example, by the popularization of customer and data analysis. At this point, Birkinshaw posed an interesting question. What will be the competitive advantage of the future? He answered in 2014 that the ability to translate retrieved knowledge into action and consequently the ability to collaborate and motivate people would become the future advantage. After 50 years of data collection, the problem wasn't gathering information anymore, but was using this information appropriately. At the time, this sentiment was growing among experts, which is evidenced by the emerging notion of the university's third mission. The next year, following the United Nations General Summit, the United Nations chose to name their campaign for sustainable development Act Now. Let's return to our younger generation, you probably, and let's talk about the market for 1 second, not just feelings. What we often forget is that the market is also composed of ideas. They may seem ethereal, untouchable, but they are a very concrete part of demand. Think, for example, of the rise of vegan and vegetarian diets. Now, the question is, how much is this propelling aspiration toward a more sustainable world with less competition, more empathy, meritocracy, and fairness a real wish or just a talk? Because if it is truly a powerful aspiration, the future will eventually demand better collaboration skills from industries to remain competitive. This phenomenon may mark a shift from a culture based on competition to one based on collaboration. And this would mark a decisive change in leadership models, because the ability to collaborate is fundamentally different from the ability to give orders.
There's too many managers already. The world is short of leaders.
Universities and governments follow the same reasoning. Organizations that show they concretely meet this wish, for example, by promoting a healthier research environment and addressing misconduct promptly, may win on the market. Those instead that wash misconduct away, hiding it out of fear of reputational consequences, may face a slow decline, failing to align with the values of the new market of tomorrow, which will arguably gravitate more and more toward transparent organizations. Following these emerging trends, some universities have already started creating countless courses on sustainability. But are they real or just propaganda? Because, and here is the final point, this new generation, once again, is the market of tomorrow. And what they seem to demand most in this new reality, which is made of slogans countered by a disappointing reality, is authenticity. A survey report from AI shows how authenticity has climbed to the top of their values. The report also indicates that seeing others treated unfairly is what concerns them the most. So if you talk A and behave B, all this may retaliate against you in the long term. Thank you very much for staying with me, and I hope you liked this episode. In the next one, we'll be diving into the heart of cultural innovation. What are its problems, if any? So remember to subscribe to stay updated, and I'll see you in the next video.